Hello dear friends, and welcome to my channel Crafting with me, Indiana Jones. Today I have some IOD Summer 2024 release inspirations for you and a giveaway. I'll tell you all about this wonderful collaboration and the giveaway a little later in the video, so let's get started. In today's video, I'll be using all of these IOD products, and I'll also let you know where I got them. For this first DIY, I'm using the Persephone mold. Take a look at this. This is a big mold. I had never seen a mold this big, this detailed, this elegant, and timeless and classic as well. I'm using foam clay, although I would suggest air dry clay works very well. But if you only have foam clay like I had in this situation, it works just as well, especially for this particular project. And again, this product is amazing. Just the amount of detail that is in this, it's just fantastic. So here I'm filling up my mold with the foam clay. Now what I decided to do with this is one of those exploding frames, or exploding, how do you call it, canvases. And I've seen this and I thought, oh my gosh, it would be so beautiful if it was an exploding canvas with the beautiful Persephone coming through. Once again, because this is a larger mold, I would make sure that you take the time to let it really set. It doesn't have to be completely dry, but make sure it sets and it has all the details. Here I'm just cleaning up a little bit, but as you can see, it's just perfect. Now I am using one of these canvases that you get from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just using some regular Mod Podge, and I'm going to cover this with just a plain, beautiful, deep green paper. I thought this was a perfect backdrop for that classic statuesque, just the cameo of it. That's really what this mold reminds me of, is a beautiful giant cameo. Now, I thought the green, although it's beautiful, I wanted to add a little bit more, I don't know, life or texture or patterns in the background. So if you don't have it, make it yourself. So here I'm just adding some swatches of gold, and then later I'm going to add a stencil with some writing. I think it fits this kind of decoration or style perfectly with that Persephone mold. As I was preparing the paper, of course, the mold itself dried a little more, so it was a little more stiff, which was perfect. All I have to do now is to glue it down to my paper. Now you can use wood glue, you can use, I think wood glue is the best. I used Mod Podge, believe it or not, and it held just fine. I guess because of the paper and the foam clay, which is very porous, it worked fine for my project here. Now here is the top canvas, and this is a canvas with a wooden frame. So here I am preparing the second canvas. Same thing, I decided the best way to go is to just use some paper. I have so many papers, and especially with these dark green colors, I think it's perfect. And you know, my favorite method to Mod Podge or to decoupage is to let the Mod Podge dry for a little, so it's not so wet and moist, so it doesn't wrinkle my paper, and then go over it with a small iron at low heat, or if you have a regular iron, just a regular iron at low heat, and use parchment paper so that you don't have any problems, you know, burning the paper or having the glue burn on your iron. Now turning the canvas around, and you can see there the canvas has the wood frame. I am painting the inside of that canvas because when I break it out, you're going to see this side of the canvas on the front of the, I guess the breakout. Here I'm cutting the canvas, as you can see here, with I guess a box cutter. Please be very careful when you're doing this. If you're doing this with children, make sure that you are the one that's cutting this. You can hurt yourself if you're not watching, and all you have to do is just cut out shapes. I didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I had watched my friend Jody from Jody of Southern Seasons, and I've watched other people since then. I guess this is the big inspiration from Pinterest. So of course I had to jump on the bandwagon and try it for myself, especially for something as cool as these IOD molds. Now I've told you before, I have a lot of glitter. I'm not kidding when I tell you I have a lot of glitter. So here I decided, let's use the glitter. Now, I think this would be a really nice decoration for Christmas, believe it or not. And I know Christmas in July is over, but I can still, utilize this and create Persephone to look like an angel. I even thought of having some angel wings breaking out from the back. But of course, as of all things, I simply ran out of time. But that was my original initial idea, and I still might add the wings afterwards. Now look at the canvas when I turn it around, and this is the right side up. And now I'm going to simply, I've shaped most of these. As you can see, I've already shaped them and glued them down to the paper. And all I do is make sure that it's not, bent over. It's, bent over, but with like a curve to it. So it looks very natural, I guess. And here I'm just hiding the tips of the paper so that all you see is gold. And I think it looks so cool with that green backdrop and those leaves in the background as well. And here I'm just adding more gold glitter, and I tried to keep the glitter to a minimum, and I think I kind of was able to manage it pretty well. Now I thought Persephone was just too bright and decided to use some antique glaze, and this is Pentart antique glaze that I received from Ellen J. Goods. If you watch Ellen J. Goods, Lynn and Megan, they are fabulous, and I need to tell you that we are going to be working together, and I'll tell you more about that later. But look at this beautiful glaze. It makes such a difference. Now, not only did I use the Persephone mold, but I also used the oak mold, the oak leaf mold, and I think this is so beautiful, especially for fall, but also I think for the holidays. It's very fitting. So I thought I needed to add this as well. The one thing I do always appreciate of using the foam clay is that it does not crack, and especially when I'm trying to decide exactly how I'm going to position these, I am not too worried about them breaking in any way, and I'm able to bend them over. I also love to use resin for that same idea, and just warming up the resin, you can just bend it over and shape it, and I just think it looks lovely around her neck. And again, because they're oak leaves, I think they're perfect for fall or even for Christmas. And there you have it. That's a first little peek of what it's going to look like completed. Now all I have to do is put the other canvas right over her. Look at this, just with some hot glue, and I think it looks fabulous. Now I didn't do it here, but I did use a ribbon just to cover the edges of the canvases, and so you can't see how they were joined together. But I think this looks so nice. Now I did want to add a little halo to my Persephone, and as I said before, I would have liked to add some angel wings coming out from the back of the canvas, and I still might do that for Christmas. But just as it is, I think she looks lovely. Excuse my head, it's going in there just to paint the little halo around her head. And with that, we're done. If you haven't heard the news, I am now an affiliate of Ellen J. Goods, helping to promote not only the IOD product line, but all of the product lines that she sells at her store. Lynn and Megan reached out to me, and I was more than thrilled. They have the most beautiful products, and you should just visit her store and her website now. You can also receive some of her products, as I'm giving away a $25 gift certificate. Follow all of these rules to enter to win. Now, do you think I could craft without my quality control cat Kudu? Of course not. And since fall is just around the corner, I thought it would be nice to take this frame that I found in the garbage, my favorite place to find stuff, and add a little fall touch just by adding this beautiful IOD mold called Oak Leaves and Acorns. How perfect. And I love how perfectly still my little Kudu is there watching as I am playing with the clay, actually putting it into the mold. I did use some cornstarch so nothing would stick, even though this is foam clay and it usually doesn't stick to the silicone. For whatever reason, I tried another type of clay, and this is why I'm using foam clay, and I don't know if it was the heat or the humidity, but for whatever reason it wasn't drying. At least it wasn't drying fast enough for me, so this is why I started using the foam clay, and it works just as well. I apologize, I didn't film myself gluing the actual oak leaves, but as you can see, it's the same process that we saw before with Persephone. And all I'm doing here is adding some black to these molds just to give the color a little depth. I'm going to try to color it the same as the frame itself. And again, I found this frame in the garbage. It was dirty, it was nasty. I cleaned it up and look at it now. And now, especially for fall, I think it will look so nice just to have beautiful fall pictures. Now, as you can see here, I'm painting those leaves and acorn in gold, and it makes such a difference. Look at that. It matches the frame and it just looks so elegant compared to how it looks so plain and boring before. And I think this will be such a nice addition to my fall decor this season. The next product I'm going to use is the Charlotte stamp. So the first thing I'm going to use is this, of course, a wood round that you can get anywhere like the Dollar Tree. Now, I am going to give this a bit of a spooky feel. So the first thing I wanted to do was just stain this wood a little bit, just to make it look like real wood and not so pale. And I'm first going to use just a mixture of my paint with a little bit of water and just mixing it up and just wiping it down. Now I'm also going to burn some of the wood. I guess I want to call it like burn. So I'm adding some dark sienna and black and just adding that to the wood just to give it a little bit of depth and to enrich the color. I want this to look like an antique sign that you would find in Salem. Can you guess what I'm trying to create? Well, here is the Charlotte stamp. Look how gorgeous it is. Oh my gosh, so many images that we can use. First things first, though, you have to sand down any kind of stamps that you have just to make sure that it grabs the ink and transfers it properly. Now, the one I'm going to use is that beautiful silhouette again of, I guess it's Charlotte is her name, but Charlotte today is going to be a little more magical. So believe it or not, I couldn't find my black stamp, but I did have my aqua blue one. Does that make a difference? Yes, you'll see. I think it looks very, very beautiful. Now, I decided to make her a bit of a witch, let's say. Yes, we'll say a witch. I was so inspired with everything that I'm seeing about Halloween that I said, well, how can I use these IOD products for Halloween? Well, here's one wonderful way. I do want to create another witch cameo with the beautiful Persephone as well. But for this time, I just want to use the lovely Charlotte and create my own little witch hat. With my witch's hat all outlined, now I was going to start to paint. And I also watered down a little bit of the paint here and there, and you'll see that I try to give it a little bit of depth and light and just give this beautiful, I don't know, I really like the idea of making her a beautiful magical witch. And just because she's blue doesn't mean it's not Halloween. This actually reminded me of one of my favorite books as a child called The Blue-Nosed Witch by Margaret Embry. Can you imagine, after all of these years, more than 50 years, and I remember that was the first book that I was really enchanted with, of course, because there was a little blue-nosed witch who would always get herself into trouble. But she was always adorable and cute and had the cutest little cat. So if you happen to come across the book, The Blue-Nosed Witch, I would be so happy to find out where I can get another copy. I actually sent a copy to my niece, but she doesn't recall where it is. So I would like to have a copy for myself. I think this is coming out pretty well, considering I don't consider myself a painter. So what do you think? Is the hat nice enough for this painting or portrait? As you saw, I rubbed a little bit of the paint away to add a little more movement, depth, whatever you want to call it, highlighting. And now I'm going to use a beautiful teal blue color to add some highlights to this witch's hat. I am really liking the way this turned out, and the fact that it's blue and it's a different color, but still it has a magical sense to it. I think that's the most important thing. So here I am adding those beautiful blue tones just so that I can highlight the wrinkles and the movement of the hat. Now, using this fairy tale transfer book, I'm going to find a little bit of a small design that I can add around the circle, just to add a little more whimsy and a little more magic. And these are truly magical designs. So if you haven't used a transfer before, it's very simple. I use this butterfly to cover up the little mistake that I made with my ink, and it looks just fine. It covered it up, and again added a little bit of whimsy, and it makes sense that a magical witch would call to her attention butterflies and other creatures. And apparently she's called the attention of my cat Kudu. She can't stay away when I'm creating something that's witchy. Now, you have to understand that I work some late hours sometimes, and it's so nice that my kitty cats want to spend time with me. Some people have commented, well, they're in the way, I can't see very well. And again, I apologize. However, this is a very special time. I get to work alongside my beautiful little kitty cats. And as you can see here, she did not want to move whatsoever, but that's okay. Even if you have kids or kitty cats or dogs, you can do a transfer. That's how easy they are. She was very fascinated with my little wooden scraper stick, and she wouldn't leave me alone. But it's not enough to craft with just one kitty cat in the mix. You'll see I have adjoined to me my little cat Luna as well. And I think the two of them were in cahoots, because Luna just plopped herself right there on top of the witch so that I couldn't continue working as much as I tried. But you work around them and do the best you can and just move to another table if you have to. And there she is. Now, I did add a few little touches of that blue into the flowers that you see there in the trim, and I think she looks lovely. Please remember to visit L&J Goods for any of these products, and remember to enter to win this giveaway. Remember, I will be giving away a $25 gift certificate to L&J Goods. More information in the description below. I want to thank all of my lovely friends, CJ, Jackie, Tammy, Marta, Soon, Buffy, and Christine, for this amazing collaboration. And remember, there are 2 giveaways, so watch all of our videos in the playlist below. Thank you again for stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you, and remember to live the adventure. And I will see you again very soon.